everybody. Today's episode is going to be a very special one for all of my spiritual friends that obviously want to be able to build up a good life for themselves, make more money, but want to do it in an aligned way. And are wondering whether the two things, spirituality and sales, actually go hand in hand or not. So today's going to be a good one. Welcome to episode number 2 of Tjibaria's Daily Show. Hello, amazing people, and welcome to episode number 2. And like I was saying before, this one is a special one because we have been meeting so many people that are spiritual or whatever you may find under that word, but they really want to make sure that they keep in alignment and they keep doing things in a way that they feel good about and authentic. And at the same time, they want to make a lot more money, but they were wondering whether or not these two things actually go hand in hand. So today I want to let you guys know straight from the get-go that the answer is yes. These two things go hand in hand, and especially in the way that we practice sales and the way how we train all of our students, we actually see sales as a very spiritual endeavor actually. And so what I want to go into today in this episode is really to dive deep about what is actually the true meaning of sales and what does it do? Because I think that over the last however many years, a lot of people have gotten a bad name of sales or start to think that sales is a bad thing or a negative thing, or it's something that is for some reason not right or not honorable or whatever one may think about it. And it's especially when you think something is not good or when you think something is not right, or more so when you don't know enough about something that you obviously don't want to do it and you obviously don't want to get great at it. But at the same time, obviously, a lot of people do want the outcome of being great at sales, which is getting more clients, making more money. So what I want to start off with is actually like, what is the definition of entrepreneurship, or what is it in just the most simplest term? And we always share this on our events, which is that the core of entrepreneurship is really helping people. So whether you are a sole trader that has a beautiful business that helps people by selling them products, or whether you have an online business and you are offering people services, or you're training people, or you're a coach, or you've got books just like we do, or whatever it is, or a combination of all of the things. Why do you have what you have? It's because what you have to offer ultimately makes a difference to someone, and it either solves a problem, or it makes someone feel better, it makes someone grow, it takes something off someone's plate, it gives someone a tool that is basically allowing them to do what they want to do in a better way. So the ultimate thing that we have to understand is that if we are an entrepreneur, a business owner, or someone that is looking to go out there and obviously make sales, it's for the reason of helping someone. So that's number one. So understanding that entrepreneurship, business, the core of us giving away something in our business, which obviously we get something back for, which is money, the core of that is helping business. Now, what obviously doesn't help is that this time and age, there are so many people that are scamming. So I'm just going to say this because it's an important topic to talk about. There are a lot of scammers out there, especially it has amplified in the digital age because it's so easy to just send messages. And there are so many people that are not necessarily aware of how certain things work online, and therefore there's been almost a surge of scammers that actually, number one, not only do I just completely not respect anyone who does that to another person, because whatever you do is going to come back. So if you're scamming people, something is going to come back and amplify it because it's just not the right thing to do. But also, what I always really just think is so ridiculous and stupid is that if a scam artist was just to put the same level of effort in an actual business, they would probably do well. So it's just really sad sometimes to see that these things are out there. But because of that, also a lot of people then start thinking as if any type of sales process, or as sometimes it says, sales tactic, or process of sales, conducting sales, has kind of gotten a bad taste, even though if you really again look at the core of it, it is helping people, it's making a difference. And that obviously again goes back towards like, why are you doing it? So the first question that I want to ask everybody in here actually is like, why have you either decided to do your business? Like, is what you have to offer something that you are absolutely sold on because you know it would leave the person better off than without having that thing? So say for instance, if I'm selling this pen, I know I'm leaving people better with this pen because this pen is so good and has multiple colors and all of these beautiful different things. Or if I'm selling my book, I know this would absolutely leave people off better than before they have this book because they learn so many crucial things that any entrepreneur should know. Or it could be that maybe you're not in business yet, but you really have a very strong reason why you want to make more money. And you have the awareness that you want to do it in an ethical way, in a nice way, in a good way. So that really that point again is that you want to help people and want to make a difference. So the second point that I want to make is not only is the core of entrepreneurship making a difference, helping people and serving people, but then the second part to this is that we only obviously are able to do that in a sustainable way if there is something coming back from that goodness. So again, especially for spiritual people, a lot of the time we speak to very spiritual people, and there's a whole variety of people that um, fall under that category. But like in general sense, these are very good people, very heart-centered people, and people that want to obviously do good. But sometimes I see a group of them that really feels like whatever they're doing, they just meant to just give it away or only charge peanuts. And that's an interesting thing because if you really think about it, most people want to help a lot of people. And just ask us that question to yourself as well. Do you want to, with your spiritual powers or with just the product or service that you have, but the spiritual nature that you have, do you want more than one person to be benefited by it? Answer is probably yes. And if that is the case, you want to obviously reach out to more people and be able to sustainably do this. But the point is, and the problem also is that if you continuously were to give whatever it is that you do, whether that is healing sessions or whether that's products, services, whatever you do, and you were to give that away for absolutely peanuts because you come from that point of mind that you want to help a lot of people, ultimately it will actually not work in your favor or in their favor. So in this point two, I want to go into an A and a B. The A is going to be about the client. So one of the things that is really important to understand if you really want to crush it in sales is that the close, so that's the moment where you and the person are getting that agreement and the person decides to pay you and you have the deal, you've closed the deal, that moment is most transformative for the person buying. That is the moment where they have taken that incredibly empowering decision to take a step forward, whether that is forward by getting your product. Oh, let me get that. Yeah, straight again. By buying your product or buy your service or buying something that you offer that is beneficial. And that's that moment where they actually have a big part of their transformation. Now, we're going to come back to that point in just a little while, but I just want you guys to understand, and please also feel free to take notes, that the close is for them. Now, imagine this. I want to just ask a question. Is there anybody that's watching this live or on the replay who has ever helped people for free? And if that's the case, have you ever had any of the following things? The person that you're helping for free is not taking it seriously. The person is not coming to the designated meetings. The person is not using the material or the stuff that you have given them for free. Or the person is not showing up on time. Or the person is not actually doing what you intended them to do with that thing that you gave them from the goodness of your heart for free. Have you ever had anything like that? Now, if that is the case, it's actually the case for majority of people. That is just because of the whole idea of how you show up when you value something or when you've actually put your skin in the game. Meaning that if you just look at your clothes for example, or you look at the let's just say shoes. Imagine you have some really really beautiful shoes, and these were shoes that came at quite an investment, and they were just like shoes that you buy once and then you can use them for your whole life. They're really, really special shoes. Versus flip flops that you just buy for a tiny peanut in a local supermarket. Do you notice a difference in how you treat either of those items? Like the flip flops, you probably just throw around. Doesn't matter where they're at. Or you flip the flip flop. It's fine because they weren't much, like they didn't cost much anyways. Whereas those very special shoes that you have paid a fortune for and you will want to utilize for a long period of time, you probably keep them safe in their own designated area in your closet. Maybe you put shoe shine on them. Maybe you just really make sure there's no heavy objects above them because you wouldn't want it to get damaged. Now that's a very simple example when it comes to shoes. You can think of the same example when it comes to cars, like you're buying a very cheap car that just came off the old scrap metal place of cars and that's just barely moving, versus a brand new car, or a car that maybe is not brand new but that costs a substantial amount of money. Or if you're thinking about you signing up for a free seminar, didn't cost you anything, versus a seminar or a training that you've paid 1,000 for. Like, which one would you show up for better? Which one would you make sure that you're there? Would you do all the homework? Would you make it worth your while? Obviously the one that you're paying more for. So if you come to think about it, and you truly went into business and you're truly doing what you're doing to make a difference to people, then you got to ask yourself, is okay, what is my ultimate wish for my clients? For me, and for you probably, it is that my clients get the most beautiful results, the biggest benefit from that thing that I've just sold them. I want them to win. And so if you think about that, and we've just had that example about how does any person naturally treat things when we have or we have not invested a substantial sum into them, then we can deduct very easily that if we put more money towards it, we put our skin in the game, we are obviously going to take it more seriously. And it's obviously going to produce not only a more significant impact on the individual that has bought it, but it's also actually going to make the individual feel better about it too. I feel super proud whenever I got myself something that is so incredibly valuable, because I know I've worked hard for it and I've made it happen and I've been able to do certain things and sacrifice certain things, like not going there, but I've made this happen, and then boom, I've been able to invest in that thing, and I embrace it with all of my love, joy, and pride. Now, if you think about it, therefore, what will lead to better results? Obviously, when the client pays more for it. So ultimately, who is benefiting from putting in the money? It is the client. Because when a person pays more, they pay more attention. Hence, the results are better. And especially for those of you that are in the knowledge industry, you're selling books, you're selling seminars, you are a coach, you're doing a marketing service, or any service for that matter. Especially in those areas, this plays a big role in the results that your client will get. So that's one thing. That's the A part of number two, that it's actually in your client's best interest that they not just overpay, but they pay what it's actually worth. So that's a very important thing. And let's make a subsection 1 or something. Do you think that what you are doing is worth a lot? Do you think that what you are offering is actually powerful, beneficial, wonderful, whether that is because of the material that it contains, the product that it contains, your energy, your time, your dedication as the person looking after your client, all of the above? Yeah, it is worth a lot. So, all I'm asking you guys is to understand that assessing the correct value to what it is that you offer and then charging according to that value. That's a very, very important thing. Because again, the more the person pays, the more they are paying attention. But obviously, I'm not going to ask you to charge 1 million for something that shouldn't be 1 million. I'm asking you just to figure out objectively, like, what is this worth? And then charging that. So that's the subsection 1 at point number 2A. Now, what is 2B? 2B is basically, okay, just look at the opposite. Imagine you don't care that it is more beneficial for the client that they pay more. And you're just going to be stubborn, like I was when I just started. And I'm just going to be like, no, I'm going to help people for free. And if I help them for free, all of the goodness will come back anyways. I did that. And I started to help people for free. And I started to take on a lot of clients free of charge. And everybody had a really awesome line of like, hey, you get me results. And when you get me results, then I'm going to pay you. I'm even going to pay you more. And it was nice. It was a nice marketing talk. But the truth of the matter is, I actually saw what my mentors already told me, that they weren't actually paying that much attention. They weren't taking it as seriously, and they didn't have their skin in the game. And I'm not saying that that's with everyone, because there are a few examples of people that have been trained by us, by me, and that didn't pay anything in the beginning and became big success stories. But that's like 1 in 1,000, maybe. Like, it's a very, very, very small percentage. So that's why we actually don't do that anymore. And it's a very important thing to realize, again, why do you do that? And why shouldn't you do that? Because I also know that if that person had paid, would have probably gotten better results or even more results. So that's a very important thing. Now, coming then back to the point I was making, imagine that you are stubborn, just like me. There comes a time that you will no longer be able to just give, because it comes at an expense. When you are just giving and giving and giving and you're never receiving, at some point you're going to be depleted. At some point, you're, from an energetic point of view, you're just helping, and probably it's not going to help from a mental perspective either, to see that you're helping so many people but they're not actually getting results, which is only due to the fact that they don't actually appreciate it enough, or don't put their own skin in the game, and don't show up with the same level of conviction as they would if they had put their money into it. So that's one part. But on the other part, just from a logical point of view, imagine if you're helping a ton of people and none of them are paying you, and you still need to put food on the table. You still need to pay your rent. You still need to make sure that you look after your loved ones. How are you practically going to do it? You're not. You're going to burn out. And at a certain point in time, you are not able to give anymore, which means that you come from this really good place of helping the world, and I can help everybody. And you give and give and give and give and give. And then eventually, only to find out that you've only been able to actually help maybe 5 people or maybe 10 people, even though you know that what you have to offer could help hundreds of people, if not more. So, who are you really doing a disservice? Yes, you've helped 10 people out of the goodness of your heart, which still, has it really helped them? Have they gotten the results yet? But because you wanted to go and prove that I can help those 10 people, there are 90 people or more waiting in the cold, not being able to get your help, because you wouldn't be able to give anymore, because you've given so much without anything in return. And it does something to you mentally too. Like, how many people do we speak to on our events that have been giving for years upon years in their lives and not seeing anything come back? And that makes you wonder as well, which brings me to point number 3. Why do we feel that simply only giving and not receiving something back for it is a good thing? It's actually really interesting. And my dad said something beautiful about this to me that really hit home, which is we're thinking that it would be the good thing for others and we're wanting to help others. But is it right to, in order to help others, to hurt yourself? Because I'm also an individual. You are also an individual. You ought to look after any human being, not just the others, also you. Is that the right thing then? That for the sake of me helping the 10 people, I'm actually neglecting myself, which in turn leads to me not being able to help more than 10. Why is it so that so many people that are giving a lot and are the spiritual type and do not want to accept anything back from it? And by the way, it's not just a spiritual type that are guilty of this, also other people, but let's just keep it to the spiritual type for just this example and this video. How often is it so that, again, those people are starting and stopping and starting again and stopping and starting again and stopping? Like, just check that out with yourself. Have you noticed that in yourself? That it's a constant battle of, hey, I'm back in the game, oh, I have a burnout, I'm back in the game, oh, I have a burnout, and back. Like, it's that cycle. And unless you do something about it and you actually say, hey, what am I doing? This is not good, this is not healthy. I also have to have balance in that act of giving and receiving. Why do they say on an airplane before anyone else, if there is the turbulence and something's going wrong, before you help anybody else, put on your own oxygen mask first? Why do they say that? They say that because they realize if you start helping others, then at some point you are not able to breathe. So you can help anybody anyways. You need to put your own on first so that you have the air, and then you can help as many other people as possible as you are within your vicinity. And that same rule applies to business too, which then brings me to what is this whole fear of accepting money, or of even the whole process of sales, where, in our opinion, you are empowering a person to move to a better future. That's what sales means in the way how we look at it. Sales is merely the process of empowering a person to move to a better future. Why do we fear that process? Like, literally, what is that fear? Now, what we have seen in all of our research with all the students that we work with and the people that we have come across is that it's actually not necessarily just the sales process that people fear, but it is mainly the acceptance of money that people fear. That they just feel awkward to ask for money. Like, we can do the whole sales thing right, but then I'm just not saying, hey, let's do it. Here's the link. Here's the bank details. How do you want to pay for it? Visa, MasterCard, or American Express? We don't dare to ask that question. And why is that? That brings me to point number 4. Why is it, or maybe 5, I can't remember which point I'm at. Maybe you guys can let me know in the chat. But why do we fear or have such a weird feeling about money? Because if you think about it, how long does money actually exist? It hasn't been around for that long. What happened before money? Before money, we were literally just barter. We would exchange. We would say, hey, I have some eggs and you have some vegetables. We would exchange it. Then other people, I would exchange vegetables for something else, and we just constantly barter. That system was actually a lot more in balance because we understood back then that you give and you take, and there is balance in that. You understood that what you had was valuable and that you got something else in return for that is also valuable. Hence, it's a win-win situation. But when money came around and people made it easier because then we don't have to put a like bring around all of our vegetables, our eggs, our milk, our cows, whatever. We just have to have a piece of paper or coin or coins, that it was easier for the whole marketing process, for the whole business process, and international trade or trade across bigger areas was much easier that way. But in the process, it did have a very bad influence on the way how many people's mind have been somehow tainted by what that coin or what that piece of paper actually means. And somehow we have started to associate a lot of feelings and emotions and even self-worth to the amount of coins that one of us has. What I have, what you have, or whatever. These days, even people feel like it is a measure of your value as a person, that it determines your worth. How many people have I spoken to that feel if they haven't made 1 million already, that therefore they're less valuable as a person? That's so untrue. It couldn't be further from the truth, because our intrinsic value is us, who we are as people, how we communicate with people, the good deeds that we do, the good thoughts that we think, the purpose and the intention that we have. These are the things that matter. And whether you have made a lot of money or you have not made a lot of money, yeah, whatever. It's about how are you as a person. And that is very important to realize. But it has done even more. It has also made us very scarce minded in different situations, because once we understood the importance of having those coins, then we also felt the fear of losing those coins. And that has therefore limited us in taking certain actions all the way up to the day of today. How often are there people that really want to do something, they want to pursue something, but their wallet will not agree with them? And they'll have a bit of money and they're just like, no, sorry, I can't do it. And they let their wallet decide for them, as one of my students once said, which is actually the weirdest thing ever. Why would you let money decide how you live your life, or which dreams you can or cannot pursue? Now, I'm not saying that if you want to, for instance, invest in a course, or you want to learn something, or you want to get a mentor or whatever, right? But you don't have that exact amount that is required straight away in your bank account, that therefore you can just still do it. No. But what I am saying is that, hey, if there's a will, there's a way. I want to do that course. I'm going to make it happen. Number one, I'm going to speak to that person and say, hey, what can we do? Can I do a payment plan? Can we do this? Can we do that? I'm going to find a way. I'm going to be solution focused. Think outside the box. Another thing is going to say, hey, how can I increase my income? Can I take extra shifts at work? Can I get another job? Can I sell some stuff that I don't even use anymore at Facebook Marketplace, make some extra cash and invest that? I would go and make a plan and just make it happen. Why don't most people do that? It's because somehow we have also gotten into that state where we just settle. We just settle for, this is my situation, and all woe comes to me, or however people say that. Like it's just the way it is. No, it's not. You have the power and you have the ability to change your life around, no matter what your circumstances are. No matter what is going on right now, you have the power. You just got to believe. And then once you have that belief, you got to figure out, what's a way that I can get there. The interesting thing is, if any of you just think about it, who is one person that you are inspired by? Who is one person whose life journey has really made an impact on you? Listen to their stories, read their autobiographies. Most of the time you will see that at a certain point in these people's lives, they just made a decision. They made a decision and said, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a way. I'm not going to accept no for an answer. We're going to find a way to do it in the right way. I'm going to do the right thing to get to a solution that is absolutely a good way. And that's why we at FLC, we don't say do whatever it takes. We say do whatever good it takes. And I want everybody to comment that below. It's actually our e-commerce brand as well. It's called no, sorry, DWI, no, DWGIT, Doggett. And we have a really, really amazing clothes and nerdwear and all that sort of stuff. And by the way, I just gonna share it with you guys as well. I've put it in the description, but if anybody aligns with that statement, you can go to Doggett Official and you can just see like all different merch that we have available that is really to empower people with that ideology of, it's not just about doing whatever it takes, it's about doing whatever good it takes. Because if you say do whatever it takes, you would also be willing to do things that are not good. And I don't personally believe in that. I believe that for everything that we want to do, there's a good way. And that is also why I think this video hopefully will inspire those spiritual people, because in the way how we do things, we only ever do things that are good. When we're conducting sales, we never manipulate a person. We never, how do I say it? Some people have those words like it's like you're saying certain things just to get things your way. No, we only ever want to inspire someone to basically believe in themselves and to see that better future. And if we feel we can absolutely help them get there, then we want to move them into action so that they will pursue a good path to a future that they deserve. And that's truly what sales is as well, that you're inspiring people, that you're empowering people, that you are there for people, that you believe in people. You know how often we have calls with people, and whether or not they buy, they just really say thank you for the fact that we're listening to them, that we're inspiring them, that we're giving them feedback, tips, giving them belief again. Because there are, again, so many people out there that actually don't really understand what sales means. There's a ton of salespeople out there that really don't even understand the core of it. And they are definitely not professionals. Like professional salespeople, they help people, whether the person buys or whether person does not buy. Anyone else that does nothing compared to that or falls short of that is not a professional, which is also okay because maybe these people are still learning and they're still, making their mistakes. That's totally fine. But if you're speaking to a professional salesperson, that person will treat you with respect, will empower you, will support you, and will help you find a way to get yourself to where you deserve to be. And that's what sales really means. So, coming back to the point about the weird feeling about accepting money, why should you feel weird about it? Because going all the way back, it's only natural to exchange. And the fact that right now we exchange our service or our product or program for coins, yeah, that's because that's just a lot more practical. But that's still what you are giving is worth a lot. So don't feel awkward about actually accepting something back. And then last but not least, this is the final point. What is this point six, 5 or 6? I can't remember. Is that a lot of the time spiritual people are like, okay, I do want to do it, but I want to do it in my own flow. Well, I have one thing to say about that. No, two things. Number one, you should obviously be true to yourself. I don't want to be a different person than I am unless I feel, hey, I can improve upon certain things and I can grow. There's certain things in my current being that I actually think I can definitely, work on. Then yes, I want to become a different person. I want to become a better person, better set. But yes, we should be true to who we are. I'm not saying that anyone should change that. But then on the other hand, there is a structure to sales that can allow you to efficiently empower people. Because sometimes, again, spiritual people, but not just spiritual people, but especially spiritual people, they're like, no, I want to just flow with it and that sort of stuff. And I just want to do it my way. Well, then let me be very direct with you. How much has your way produced for you right now? Because if you are that broke and you still are stubborn to do it your way, then just know that if you keep doing things that you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. So maybe it is actually very spiritually advised to change. And if anything, isn't that also what spirituality is about? That you allow yourself to adapt and grow and evolve, but still honoring your own core values, obviously. So that's why I want to quote you a beautiful quote by Master Sri Akashna, where he says, master the form and flow with the formless. What does that mean? It basically means that first you gotta master something. A lot of people, they want to do all of that flowy stuff, and they just want to do things in the way that they feel, and nothing wrong with that. By all means, be flowy and fluffy as much as you want, but have a structure that allows you to get the job done. Because how aligned is it if you don't put food on the table and your children cannot eat? If you cannot pay the rent, if you cannot keep your promises, and if you're not able to look after yourself, is that right? Is that ethical? Is that a good spiritual deed? No, it's not. So understand that following a structure is nothing wrong with. Like, even when you learned the language, you had to learn how to say the different words first, and then you had to learn the grammatical structure, and then you had to learn how to make sentences and how those things were different under different circumstances. Sometimes you have past tense, sometimes you have present tense. That was a structure too. Just think about anything, any skill that you have. There's a structure to it. That's how you learned it. Now, maybe not everything, but a great deal of things you would probably have had a structure. And the same applies for sales. But I do think that a lot of the time people overthink this whole thing and think like, oh yeah, but that's weird, like sleazy, or that's slimy, or whatever. Like, get that garbage out of your head and understand there's an actual very simple, practical, beautiful, elegant, and spiritually aligned way of doing things. But there is a structure to it. There's a couple of things that you have to know as a salesperson to even be able to know if you can help the person or not. Like, am I gonna flow my way into figuring out whether I can help the person? Yes or no? No, obviously not. So there are certain things that just need to happen. You need to understand, who is this person? Where do I want to go? What is the challenge that they're facing? What is it costing them that they have that challenge? And can I do the job to solve their problem? If yes, then make that happen. But that's the whole part too. Follow that structure. That's why I love this quote. Master the form is that you learn how to use the structure. Master that first. And once you master it, then you can add your own flow to it. Then, because you've done a number of different calls, you are feeling how that works now. Now you can finally add your own flavor, your own flair, which, by the way, naturally you're already going to do in the first call anyways. But then it's going to allow you to adapt it a little bit and see, hey, okay, this way I'm going to shift it a little bit because this aligns with me more. And this way I'm going to do more of it because it actually aligns really well. And I never even thought about that. So, if anything, I want to ask all spiritual people to really think, like, what is the most spiritually aligned thing to do? What is really the right thing to do? The right thing, in my opinion, is that you look after yourself, your loved ones, and after those that you can help. And the only way to do all of that is if you also look after you. And that's why I hope that all the points today have illustrated that the whole process of sales is nothing more but actually helping people. Number two, that money is purely just that bartering thing that you're doing. That if you truly want people to win, that they putting their money into the game, they're putting their skin into the game, it's actually going to benefit them more than it does you. But if you're still too stubborn to do it, you also realize that at the end, you won't be able to come very far and help many people, because at a certain point in time, it's no longer in balance and you're not able to continue. So, all of this said and done, I hope that the spiritual people will actually realize that sales itself, if you conduct it in a way like professional people do it, it's actually one of the most beautiful spiritual processes. And what I always really find so incredible is that when I do sales calls and I'm speaking and listening to the most beautiful people, it heals my own wounds. And it's a really, really crazy thing to say. Sometimes people also think like, oh man, I need to be super far and I need to get all the certificates and I need to have my full healing done before I can help others. No, it's actually not true. You can actually find your healing in helping others. And the exchange that just that process has of you helping someone and someone helping you by sharing that energy and then doing a deal that basically has empowered that person to take that step to part with their hard-earned money because they believe that they can get further ahead, and they finally start believing in themselves again by means of you helping them for that. Man, that's one of the most beautiful, powerful, and spiritual processes that I can actually think of, apart from obviously being a parent or doing something beautiful for a loved one and stuff like that. This is actually really, really special. So I wish that the spiritual folk out there will embrace some of the points that I've mentioned today and actually allow yourself to witness that part of spirituality and no longer hold yourself back, especially for you, but also especially for those that you are meant to serve. And if you are ready to go and increase your amount of sales and get actually become a professional at it, and to, in a spiritually aligned way, just make a ton more money, then I also want to kindly invite all of you to come to our next Project 1 Million in 1 year. It's going to take place in um, March. We have 6 days and it's like 3 hours per day. And the first session will be on March 5th. And the other sessions will be from March 12th until March 16th. And we get free tickets. We still have free tickets available. So if you are not yet part of it, make sure to click on the link and join the tribe and be part of the Project 1 Million in 1 year event. And it's going to really help you guys a lot, and I cannot wait for you to see your business thrive in all aspects of the world, also from that spiritual perspective. um Ruby is saying, no, it's simple, well done, expressed and received, inspired by you. Thank you, Tjibaria. Oh, thank you so much, Ruby. I appreciate you so much. It's so lovely to see the comments, especially since I'm a young, small YouTube channel. So any comment that comes in is really, really appreciated. And even if I'm a big, strong YouTube channel, that every comment is still very appreciated. It will forever be appreciated, but especially right now, I feel like, yay, somebody's watching. So thank you so much for that, Ruby. And everybody else who's watching this either live or on replay, if you're not part of the family of the Tjibaria Daily Show yet, please feel free to subscribe, hit the bell, like the video, feel free to share it with anybody else if you think it can inspire them. And also, if there's any topics that you would love me to talk about on my daily show, please comment it below and I'll look into it for you. And I'm so super excited to help you with that too. And on that note, I'm going to go. I catch you guys again tomorrow for another daily show. But in the meantime, don't forget to take these things to heart and allow it to benefit you as well as the rest of this world. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.